Most people don't realize this at first. They think they want a cleaner home, a neater space, less mess. But what they're actually craving is quiet inside their head. Because clutter doesn't just live on shelves. It lives in the mind. And the reason minimalist spaces feel so calming has very little to do with aesthetics. It has everything to do with how your brain survives modern life. Think about the last time you walked into a room that felt heavy. Too many objects, too many colors, too many unfinished things staring back at you. You may not have consciously noticed it, but your nervous system did. Your brain is constantly scanning for information. Every object asks a question. Every pile demands a decision. Every mess whispers, "You still haven't dealt with this." And over time, that whisper becomes noise. Psychologists call this cognitive load, the invisible tax your environment places on your mental energy. When your home is cluttered, your brain never fully rests. Even when you sit down, your mind stays alert, processing, filtering, holding things in working memory that shouldn't be there. That's why people feel tired in their own homes. Not physically tired, mentally exhausted. And here's the part most people don't expect. The urge to declutter is rarely about being organized. It's about control. In a world that feels unpredictable, overwhelming, and fast, organizing your space becomes one of the few places where cause and effect still exist. You move an object, the space changes. Immediately, that sense of mastery calms the nervous system. It tells the brain, at least here, things make sense. That's why people often start cleaning during emotional distress, after an argument, during anxiety, in moments of uncertainty. It's not procrastination, it's regulation. Minimalist homes work because they reduce the number of decisions your brain has to make. Less visual input means less mental chatter. Less choice means less fatigue. Less stuff means fewer reminders of unfinished business. And when the brain stops defending itself against overload, something interesting happens. Presence returns. You notice light. You notice breath. You notice yourself. This is why minimalist spaces often feel almost sacred. Not because they're empty, but because they leave room for awareness. Neuroscience shows that environments with fewer distractions allow the prefrontal cortex to function more efficiently. That's the part of the brain responsible for focus, emotional regulation, and intentional behavior. In other words, a calmer space literally makes you more yourself. But here's the contradiction. Minimalism isn't about having less. It's about removing what doesn't belong to your identity anymore. That's why copying someone else's minimalist aesthetic never works long-term. If the space doesn't reflect your values, your nervous system won't trust it. True minimalism is personal. It's not about white walls and empty shelves. It's about alignment. When your environment matches who you are becoming, your brain relaxes. That's why some people feel peace in a sparse room, while others feel anxiety. Because the space isn't wrong. It's just not theirs. There's also a quieter reason minimalist homes feel powerful. They reduce emotional residue. Every object carries memory, a version of who you were, a promise you never kept, a role you've outgrown. When you live surrounded by those reminders, your brain keeps switching timelines. Past, future, regret, expectation. Minimalism anchors you in the present. It removes the emotional static. This is why people often cry while decluttering. They're not attached to the object. They're releasing an identity. And here's something rarely talked about. Minimalist spaces help people who grew up in chaos feel safe. For someone whose childhood environment was unpredictable, noisy, or emotionally unstable, order isn't aesthetic. It's survival. A tidy, intentional space sends a powerful message to the nervous system. Nothing bad is about to happen. That's why minimalist homes often belong to people who are deeply sensitive, introspective, or emotionally aware. They're not controlling. They're protecting their inner world. But minimalism can also become avoidance. When emptiness is used to escape emotion instead of process it, the calm becomes fragile. That's why the healthiest minimalist homes don't feel cold. They feel intentional. They contain objects with meaning, spaces with purpose, zones that support how the person wants to live. A reading corner that invites stillness, a clear desk that invites creation, a quiet bedroom that invites rest. This is where minimalism transforms from design choice into psychological tool. Because the brain responds not to how much you own, but to how clearly your environment communicates safety and intention. People who thrive in minimalist homes often experience ripple effects. Better sleep, improved focus, more patience in relationships. Not because the space fixed them, but because it stopped draining them. When your brain isn't constantly overstimulated, you have energy left for connection. You listen better, react less, choose more consciously. And maybe that's why so many people feel different after simplifying their space. They didn't just clean a room, they cleared bandwidth. But here's the truth that makes this uncomfortable. You don't need a minimalist home. You need a space that supports your nervous system. For some people, that looks minimal. For others, it looks curated, warm, personal. The goal isn't less stuff. The goal is less noise. And only you know which objects create noise and which create grounding. If you've ever felt drawn to minimalist spaces without knowing why, it's likely because your brain has been asking for rest. Not laziness, not escape, rest. And if you've resisted minimalism, it might not be rebellion. It might be a fear of emptiness, because silence forces you to meet yourself. Neither response is wrong. They're signals. So instead of asking, how can I have less? Try asking, what in my space helps me feel like myself and what doesn't? Because peace doesn't come from emptiness. It comes from clarity. And clarity is one of the rarest experiences in a world that never stops demanding attention. If this made you see your space differently, sit with that. You don't need to change everything today. You don't need to throw anything away. Just notice what your environment is asking from your mind. And if you want to explore more of the hidden psychology behind everyday behaviors, the ones shaping you quietly, without permission, stay with this space. Sometimes, understanding is the first act of self-care. And sometimes, less really is more. Not because you remove things, but because you finally gave your mind room to breathe.